Here in New York City, at the Garden, the red-hot Spurs, they'd won 11 straight, and here's Victor Wembanyama doing Victor Wembanyama thing.
Woo, Greeny, he had a couple of moments in this one.
That's not even his best dunk.
It wasn't his best dunk. He is extraterrestrial, just unheard of.
And then, late in the first quarter, into the second quarter, the Knicks just took over.
Jalen Brunson rattled off 8 points after he picked up a flagrant was called in that first quarter, and this is really where the game turned.
19-0 run.
He had 24 points on the game last night. Mikal Bridges also had a great day, Allen.
Great weak side defense here from him. We're going to see a couple of these as he was locked in at both ends, and that's worth 5 first-round picks.
And now let me show you something that you have never seen in your entire life, and that is a human being doing that.
That's the one.
We need to see where he's jumping from.
That was the one.
That's an elbow jumper. Most people shoot jump shots from the elbow. He dunked from the elbow. You don't understand how hard that is for normal people.
But that was pretty much all the Spurs had yesterday, and that's another steal for Mikal Bridges. He had 5 of those in the game and 25 points, and then here comes another one, and they'll give it up for Landry Shamet. The Spurs look like they ran out of gas at the end of what has been a very long road trip. It doesn't take away from how good they've been, but for the Knicks, you know, what was the little girl with the crow? When they're good, they're very, very good, and when they're bad, they're very, very bad. They've won 14 out of 18. That's tied for the best record in the East since January 21st. They're outscoring their opponents by nearly 13.5 points a game. That's the best in the NBA during that stretch. So, Wendy, you got to tell me why every Knicks fan that I've got in here is telling me when I come back from my vacation last week how terrible they are, how awful they are. We've got to start talking about Giannis already. And now the actual reality is, with the exception of a few bad nights, the Knicks have been very good this year. Talk to me.
Well, this is going to be probably the Knicks' existence for the next 3 or 4 months. You're going to see them look awesome because their starting lineup especially is a powerhouse, and there are nights when they are great. Look, they've got 10 wins this year by 25 points or more, okay? You got Mikal Bridges, who some nights, like yesterday, looks like Scottie Pippen. Some nights looks like a wallflower. You got 41 double-doubles for Karl Towns, which he had another one yesterday, which leads the NBA. But they're obviously, this is the guy that starts the most fights in New York City, bringing up Cat's name. And so, look, this is a very strong team, including 2 wins now over the Spurs, and a team that can lose to anybody. And so I say, buckle in, choose your side. Is it half empty or half full? I know New Yorkers probably think it's half empty, but this is the way this team is going to be.
I know. I'm usually a person, when it comes to the whole glass half empty, half full thing, I always say I've got like a sip left. But in my particular case, I think this is just a difference. Look, when your coach is Tom Thibodeau, you play every night like it's Game 7 of the finals. The Knicks are now more like a regular NBA team. Some nights they just don't have it. But when the lights come on, I think this is a team that is put together with a chance to make look, they made a deep run. You can't make it much deeper than last year. You go to Game 7 of a conference final. I think this is a team that's ready to do exactly that again.
Yeah, you're describing a veteran team that has kind of had a run, that had a coach that drove them all through the regular season. And this is now a different approach, which is certain nights you're not going to see them dial it up. Certain nights you are. And that's why to me, their ceiling and floor is the widest gap of any of the contenders, because their floor, they can look bad like anybody can when they're really not popping on all cylinders. But when they are, we've seen them take down a lot of really good teams and have comebacks even against good teams. But if you're a Knicks fan, what you're hoping for is, can they get past Detroit? And if they do, if the Spurs are waiting for them, the Knicks would be the favorite in that NBA Finals.
Monica.
Consistency is a secret sauce for both successful teams and successful people, right? Like, that's what it is. And I will admit that I have been critical of this defense and making sure that it's not, just the numbers. But when you look at what they were able to do to the Spurs last night, what they've done over close to a 2-month stretch now in terms of defense, like, that defense has shown up. The thing that bothers them, as I have watched them this season, is when they don't shoot the 3 ball, everything is subject to being under the pressure of not being able to connect from the 3. And that starts with, or including their mentality in terms of how they approach the game. But if they're hitting the threes the way they did last night, that's who they can be.
Yeah, and quickly check my memory. The 7-game loss was 2 years ago. Last year they lost in 6. But the point remains. Windman, finish it up with a thought on the Spurs. They had 11-game win streak. You were talking about how almost all of it was on the road. They sort of run out of gas yesterday. What do we say about them this morning?
Yeah, and they're a team that, if you're going to look for a weakness on this roster, it's their three-point shooting too. When they won in Detroit last Monday, statement win for them. They were awesome, crushed from three-point range. Yesterday, just 9 of 36. That's not going to get it done. And If the Spurs end up getting knocked out before the finals this year, I suspect it's going to be tied to three-point shooting. They're a bottom 10 three-point shooting team. They're top 10 in pretty much everything else with Victor Wembanyama. The Knicks got them on a day where they had their good stuff going and the Spurs did not.